Welcome back to Social 20-1. This is lesson 14. Today, most of what you're going to be watching are on the related videos. So I'm not going to give you a battle by battle, theater by theater account of the war. We have more polished videos created on that are linked in the online resource. But I'm going to look at my notes here with you so that you can identify what outcomes you should look for while you're working through those videos. First outcome, as always, we want to make sure that we connect what we're learning with how we will be assessed on it. So how might you be assessed on a World War II case study? Well, there is a possibility of seeing an A2 and an A1, so we're going to take a look at that. Also going to need you to see the big picture of the war by making a map and labeling the different theaters of World War II so we can understand the World War nature of it. I want to identify in greater detail key moments of the war, including Britain alone, and we have a video for that, the events of the Pacific from Pearl Harbor to Hiroshima or Hiroshima. We have a video for that as well. And finally explore some of the controversy surrounding World War II, including the U.S. entry and the Holocaust. So here we go. Connect the case studies of World War II with the A2 or the essay assignment. Here you can see some possible prompts for an A2 that you could face. So for example, nationalism is an intoxicating psychedelic drug, proving terror and ecstasy, providing terror and ecstasy. It will drive men to barbaric acts, but it will also inspire neighbors to die in each other's defense. In a world where patriotism is the virtue of the vicious, nationalism is an infantile disease. Being that there is no one flag or no flag large enough to cover the shame of killing innocent people, the only acceptable nationalism is one that includes all of mankind. So think about those as you were watching the different videos about the different events of the war and see if you have any insight into those prompts. You can definitely skim through. This might be a little bit long for an A1 prompt, but it definitely provides us a perspective about the war and a perspective about nationalism, which is this course. From 1939 to 1945, communism, Nazism, capitalism, colonialism, anti-imperialism, fascism, and other ideologies fought it out around the world. But the ism that caused the war, the one that rallied people everywhere to make the necessary sacrifices to carry on the conflict, the one that caused the most difficulties within the Axis and Allied alliances, and the one that had the most staying power was nationalism. The barrage of nationalistic propaganda, from which none was immune, made a major contribution to the excesses of this, the most savage war ever fought. The bombing of the cities, the use of atomic bombs against civilians, the slaughter of the Jewish people, the barbarous conduct of Japanese soldiers in China and the Philippines, and the other horrors of the war could not have happened without the constant reiteration of the theme that we, us, our side, was all good, while they, them, the enemy, was inhuman. Nationalism fired up and inspired troops around the globe, swelling pride and fanning hatred. It caused jealousies, disagreements, and suspicions among allies at the expense of the common cause. It often dominated strategic decisions and always dictated the political bargaining when leaders got together at summit meetings. A notable feature of the war was that even in the most ideological states, propaganda emphasized not the ideology, but the nation. This was true in Nazi Germany, fascist Italy, capitalist America, and communist Soviet Union, where men died by the millions to defend not communism, but Mother Russia. In another irony, Hitler, who wanted to kill all the Jewish people, created a powerful Jewish nationalism that found its fullest expression in the post-war emergence of the modern nation-state of Israel. In his own perverted way, Hitler did more for Zionism than any Jewish leader had ever managed to do. Nationalism caused the Second World War. It dominated the war. The war dominate the way the war was fought. It survived the war, even in those countries where nationalism was more devilish and brought on the worst catastrophes, Germany and Japan. Nationalism remained a powerful force. The war showed that nationalism is the most dangerous of all the isms and the most persistent because it is the most human. Excellent summary of the theme of this course. So you should be able to take that summary and get some insight into those possible A2 prompts, but also because in and of itself it could be a possible A1 prompt, it'd be to your advantage to look through and say, can I see a perspective on nationalism? Is it celebrating it? Is it challenging it? What language within the source exposes the perspective? Is there a tone? Is there a context? Who's the audience? What's the modern application of it? Are there any assumptions being made here? Any limitations? Who would be a proponent? Who would be an opponent? Is there a significance here? If left unaddressed, how bad would this thing get? Those are all steps that you should be able to do with that source. So see the big picture, World War II, by making a map and labeling the theaters of war. And we have a lengthy list here of different theaters of the war. So I want you to just, July 1937, Japan invades China. Find China on the map. If you can, find where Japan invaded China on a map, because China's a big place. 38, Germany annexes Austria. Find Austria on the map. Label that as well. So there's tons of places to label. You can label them like 8A, 9A, 9B, but also maybe label the spots. Label things like Japan and USA and Hong Kong so that we can really see the global nature of this. Hopefully you can either print out the document that's there or copy it, save it as a PDF and manipulate it. Worst case scenario, I'll try to print some before you guys go away for summer school, and you can do that at home. So there's the map. Quick summary of World War II is found here in 8 minutes. So if you need to get started now after you've done the blow-by-blow events, and just with a quick summary, there it is. And then there's some enrichment there as well. Here are the excellent videos like Britain Alone. Britain Alone will have the link to the actual episode, Britain Alone by BBC, in our online resource here. So you can see that Britain Alone is right here. We also have Road to Berlin and Pearl Harbor to Hiroshima. Those are the key related videos. But here we have some other ones as well if you're looking for more detail. We have some visuals from the time. There's an excellent enrichment here about the impact of rationing on the British diet and the fact, the British people never ate healthier under rations because they had their, diet restricted, and it led to healthier eating. War Against Japan, another great video there, and some enrichment. Then we have some multiple choice at the end to show you how you could get tested on it. Step 4, explore some of the controversy surrounding World War II, including the U.S. entering it and the Holocaust. There's a document here that you can read about the debate surrounding U.S. interventionism. It's an excellent summary of that. And then we have some information about the Holocaust here as well that you can take a look at so you can understand how does the Holocaust fit into Hitler's domestic and foreign policy, and how does it fit into the ideas of fascism. Again, how might you get tested on it? Here's a sample source and some related multiple choice with the answers keyed out so that you can test yourself on it and make sure that you understand how those answers were found. And that is lesson 14.